Doing tonight? Hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful day. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. All right, should have kicked in live. So there's a weird shift kick in. So I'm going to just continue talking now. So, hello. Today we're talking about addiction recovery and understanding your energy, right? Understanding energy and how high frequencies, high vibrations will keep addiction at bay. So as I continue on this journey, right, documenting the story process of really trying to tell my story in hopes to inspire other people to be able to get off drugs because you can do it. You can totally do it. And I'm here to be the voice of inspiration for you guys to know that you can do it. All right. So I'm going to share my story. I was thinking about like how I could really reframe this story today to really talk about it from a different perspective. And I'm like, energy is like a great way to kind of like look at it. So I'm going to share my story a little bit about how I overcame it and now take the story that I'm sharing with you and incorporate it within yourself. So reverse engineer it for yourself. And as I reverse engineer my story, reverse engineer it for wherever you are at with your addiction in your recovery process. Okay. So still got a lot more work to do after this. I got to stay up a little bit later after this. I'm going to be coaching some people. So here we go. So now addiction and recovery. So when you first get off drugs, narcotics, or in any kind of addiction, it doesn't have to be narcotics. It can really be anything, any kind of addiction. There's a lot of addictions out there. And we are looking at it from an energy perspective. So now when I originally got off drugs and narcotics, I did it cold turkey. Now I had a realization. So I guess I'll start it from the standpoint of heroin. That was like the really hard one, right? And then so that was I guess we could just talk about it for just in a general stance, heroin and methamphetamines, because those were both really challenging ones. So the heroin was more of like a physical sickness to it, right? And that one comes with nausea, feelings of sickness, feelings of like you're going to die, and it's horrible, and it's like a really horrible feeling to like go through and experience. You have like cramps, you get sick, you get physically sick. It's like taking like the flu and getting like multiplying it by like 100. It's really horrible, and that's what most people fear in order to get off heroin and or opiates, right? And so it's really, you need to like look at it from a standpoint of I guess I'll speak from my perspective. So when I got off it, I really set the intention. Intention setting is very important, very crucial. Set the intention that you're going to get off it no matter what. Okay. And you get rid of all the drugs in the house, and then you just kind of go for it. The first 5 days are by far the worst as you go through the shakes and you go rocking back and forth. It's pretty bad. And so you're like rocking, you're up, you're getting like sweats, cold sweats and all that. And so once you get past that stage, you need to look at it as you set the intention. It's about really, okay, now again, I've spoken about this on just about every video because it's a very crucial realization that needs to be understood. Words have power. Words have power. And so you set the intention by like never, first off, by ingraining it into your mind that you're not going to go back to it no matter what. Like, this is it. I'm done. This feeling is horrible. Looking at it from a standpoint of the withdrawals last about 5 days, right? There's a lingering period to it, but 5 days are the worst of it. And really looking at it, like if you can get through the past 5 days, you're pretty much golden. Now, what the problem is after that, it comes to psychological of wanting to go back to it. And that is where people relapse over the years. Like people can get off it and they usually fall back into it. You ever notice how people kind of like relapse back into these things, like, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year later, 2 years later, sometimes, right? And so it's really about putting yourself in higher vibrations. You must abandon your lifestyle in a sense. And I mean that from like really like most dynamic, pretty much every dynamic of that. Your friends that you're hanging out with, no longer, like they say la vie. You need to like start mentally preparing yourself for that because you're going to be in higher vibration. When you start being around these people, again, words have power. You start programming your mind through your words. And when you start talking about drugs or you're hanging around people that are doing drugs and they're talking about drugs, they're glorifying drugs. And it's like, I'm not going back to it. And they're, even if like they are, friends and they're not going to push it on you, they're still doing it. And that energy does kind of come across to you. Now, you need to stay in higher vibrations, and singing, dancing, these things will help. Journaling, you're transferring things over into paper. You journal it out, you write it out, you surround yourself with new people, and you start going to new places. And meditation. So now here's where I would compare this. Meditation probably be a better one for talking about it from a methamphetamine standpoint, because I think that one's more extreme. Now heroin, this meditation works with heroin as well. I'm going to talk about it from methamphetamines because methamphetamines is one where like your nervous system kind of gets blown out because of like what the meth does to you. So I'm going to like take the extreme. Again, this is going to be applied, and I've also applied it on both of these. Meditation was my saving grace, and it is your saving grace as well. You need to apply it. Okay, so once you get through past the withdrawal process, you sit there and you meditate. And how do you meditate? You're like, well, I don't know how to meditate. You sit. You just sit and like focus in on your breath. Just close your eyes. Your mind's going to want to go a million different directions, but that is part of calming your energy system down. You calm the energy system down, it calms the mind down, and it has like a loop back. And then from there, you start to like understand, like thoughts will kind of bubble up, and you look at it like as an observer with no judgment. And at first, it's really difficult. And so it's like, it takes practice. But you need to be like, stay really dedicated to the process. What meditation will do is it will calm the energy within you. It balances you out. And when we become balanced within our energy system, we become balanced in life, and we become balanced with our thoughts. And these addictions just kind of seem to just fizzle away. Like these urges to want to go back, it just seems to fizzle out. They kind of just like fizzle out. And so that's why meditation is very, very important. And anyone that I help along their journey, when I'm helping them through any kind of addiction process, anything, like people that are like gung-ho and really working on changing themselves. And that's always my number one thing that I talk to about, that journaling and going for daily walks. Now, it's going to be challenging at first because you're not going to be surrounding yourself with the same group of friends. And so it gets kind of lonely. I myself became a hermit when I got off the process. I locked myself in the doors inside, and I didn't really go out at all, except little short brisk walks. Those brisk walks like helped rejuvenate my energy. And so this meditation, there's something called chi. It's like a chi energy, and it raises our energy, our inner energy up. And by raising our energy levels up, like, again, we start to like build a new lifestyle, a new life and lifestyle in the way that we think. And we just start to see the world a little bit differently in a calm state of mind. Okay. And in order to keep yourself in higher vibrations, you want to sing, dance, start surrounding yourself, find people like, especially like online. That would be like a good recommendation that I would recommend, is to like really like create new social media accounts. That's what I did. That's what I recommend. And you literally start your life over. Because remember, when you're on Facebook, social media, Instagram, and you're like rehashing this lifestyle, this old lifestyle that's coming up, you're looking at your friends, you're seeing what you're doing, they're doing, this is going to lower your frequency. It's going to push you back down. And when we lower our frequency, we then go into like states of thoughts of going back into drugs and addiction. So in order to like really overcome these addictions, we have to raise our vibration, raise our energy, raise our frequency. And states of joy, love, peace, bliss, these things will raise that. And so this is what Satguru also talks about. Satguru is also, if you pay attention to like what he talks about, that was also one thing that helped me overcome my addiction, by just like listening to this old man on YouTube. I had no idea who he was, but he was speaking a lot of wisdom. And it was just like amazing, because it was like, what is this guy talking about? It was like so simple, but yet it was like so profound. It was like, Can't be that easy, but it is. It really, really is. And so when we're getting off any kind of addiction, again, it doesn't have to just be narcotics. It could be anything, any form of addiction. Addiction stems in many different places, and it pops up in our lives. And only you know the addiction that you are fighting and battling to overcome. We have one life to live, and we're not here for very long. If you're at a young age, you may think it's long, but the older you get, the more realizations you start to hit. Like, oh my God, like, what am I doing with my life? And we don't want to get in these like toxic loop back circular cycles within our lives. And so we need to stay in higher vibrations in order to overcome it. And it's really about making lifestyle changes, like drastic lifestyle changes. And you can do it. You can totally do it. It just overcoming it. You just create new systems within yourself, create a new lifestyle, surround yourself with new people, create new social media accounts. These are drastic changes, but this will help you overcome it. This is what I did. I'm also creating, I'm going to be writing a book here pretty soon. I'm actually already writing it, but I'll be finishing up here soon. And it's going to go into a lot of the dynamics of the different techniques to help with this. Now, through this process, you're going to start to identify, like, you're going to go through like some dark times, and you'll get through it. Like, this too shall pass. That's a really important saying that you need to understand. This too shall pass. Like, it will. But if you go back, think of it like a time clock. It's going to look at it like a time clock. It's like one of those like old clocks that has like the, dial, from 12 to 12. And then you just like look at that. But if you go back, that time clock starts over. But as further you can go along with it around that time clock, the further you get away from it, and the quicker you're going to start building a new lifestyle, and the way you're rewiring your brain. You start to think differently. You start to feel differently. Feel differently. That's the most really important part of it. These are some techniques, and journal it out. And then so you start to identify some unresolved issues. This is a great time to start working on yourself, to like identify like some of the things that like are unresolved in your life. You have amazing greatness within you, and you can do amazing things, and you will overcome so much, and you're going to help so many people. Keep that in your mind. What you're doing this for a reason. It's outside of you, and you have a purpose. Now, if you believe in God, like really look up to God, I personally do. You don't have to. You need to like look at some kind of form, some theme though outside of you that's going to be there for you. That could be ancestors. It could be your past relatives that were alive that are no longer with us. Like look upon something else, because what you're doing is you're handing that energy to something else that like is greater than you, outside of you, like taking care of you, looking over you. Again, it could be a deceased relative. It could be like a mother, father, grandma, great grandma, great grandpa, something like that. And so you call upon like just different anything that you believe in. If you want to believe in God, call upon God. If you believe in angels, call upon angels. If you believe in your, again, ancestors, if you're like, well, I'm not a religious person, I'm atheist, great. I was borderline atheist as well as too. I can relate. I know. I had a profound spiritual awakening that shifted me. I am now a full-on believer, but I can also see it from many different perspectives as well. And I'm not going to be one that pushes religion on anyone. I'm myself not religious. I'm spiritual, very spiritual. But I looked at it from a lot of different dynamics. And I'm very capable of seeing it from many dynamics to help people through that, because I went through just about every single stage of it. And so you build. Think of something outside of you that's going to help you. It's going to like pull you along, and you pray to that. And a pray is a word that's like doesn't resonate with you. Talk to something else. Like create that energy outside of you that's going to like help pull you along, because there is something, and I'll just leave it at that. There's something going on within this universe, within the universe's energy that like helps us if we are receptive to it. Set your intentions. So it's about intention setting, building on it, and going from there. Dancing, singing, meditation, journaling, going out for walks, going out for runs, start exercising. This is a great time when you see a lot of people when they get off addictions, they like start getting like that guy was all like scrawny, then like he got all buff out of nowhere. I didn't see him for a couple of years, and the next thing I saw him, he was all buff. Yeah, because it's like you find other things that are more healthy, and you spin that into like, well, I'm going to be addicted to this now, like something that's actually healthy. And then you start going into these, and and build communities. And again, build them online and stay away from toxic relationships within yourself, within your circles, and really create anew. Again, this just really just off the top of my head. This is the journey in my experience. I kind of just do these lives every night because I'm kind of reverse engineering kind of how I did it. And I want to share the process for you guys to help you. You guys really can do it. And you guys can continue to do it. And so many people have, and you are doing amazing wherever you are within your journey of recovery. You're doing amazing. And just know that you're not going to slip back. You won't. It's just the intention's not even there. You want to eradicate it from your system. So words have power. Just remember that. All right, I'm about at the 15-minute mark. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Energy and addiction recovery. Hope you all have a good night. See you next time as we continue this documentation journey of telling the story. And I'm going to help you guys as well. Reach out to me if you need coaching. I can do that. And I'm building up a coaching business to move forward. I will be having a book coming out talking about a lot of these strategies. Stay tuned for that in the future. It's a work in progress right now. I'll just leave it at that. I'm Mr. Michael Adams, and this is Keep Inspiration Alive. Till next time, everybody. Toodaloo.